Hey there, Elliot here from the coaching program. Thank you so much for checking out our offer doc. In this video, I just wanted to take some time to walk you through some numbers and explain the rationale of why we're actually doing this. So let's jump in. So we have this graph here, which is basically one of the backbones of our coaching program. And let me just walk you through it and explain what we have here. So on the horizontal axis, we have the customer base size. And the customer base size is basically, we could also call them as leads. A lead is a potential customer who is willing to buy from you, buy your product. And on the vertical axis, we have the average revenue per user, basically the money you can make per user. And I hear a lot of people talking about, or who have told me that, they don't know how to do sales. They never done sales. It's not, it doesn't come natural to them, and they don't know how to do it. Well, actually, you have done sales. You have sold yourself into a job, which is the first step in this graph here. You convinced some people that you're the right candidate for that role that you're in. And after that, you did it again and again. And every time you changed jobs, you did it, right? So that was selling. Another way to look upon selling is you do sales, if not every day, but definitely every week of your life, where you're trying to convince someone of an idea that you have is worthwhile for consideration. That is essentially selling, right? And the fundamental idea here is that when you're on a full-time job, hopefully you're privileged enough to have that, you're gonna have to sell to one person. You're gonna have one full-time job. And the next obvious step after that, and I see a lot of, I've actually come across, I don't think I ever came across a designer during my career who has not done freelancing. So next obvious step after full-time employment for a lot of designers is freelancing. I have done some freelancing in the past, and I've known quite a few designers who have done this full-time for a certain period of time in their lives. Now, freelancing has its beauty and it has a lot of disadvantages. You will do a lot of a lot of different projects that you might not enjoy doing. You have little recognition, and sometimes you will have a lot of work, a lot of income on some months, and some months you will not have any client projects. And so it's going to be like a feast and famine cycle. Sometimes you will have a lot to do, and sometimes you will have very little to do, and you're just trying to scrape by. And oftentimes than not, you're relying on word of mouth, on basically on referrals, other people telling you to their contacts that they should work with you because you're so good. And in freelancing, usually you sell from 1 to 5 people or 1 to 5 different companies to hire you, to get them to do your job. And it's gonna be $1,000 or above, depending on your service. I mean, so for some jobs, it could even be tens of thousands, right? And then what I see a lot of people doing, and we see this with Alan. Heck, we've been in this position with Alan, my business partner with whom we started this coaching program, is that a lot of people see these creators online on LinkedIn and Instagram, like Chris Do, a famous design creator, or Justin Welsh is also a big creator in the entrepreneurship space. And you see a lot of these creators, we follow them, and they see them selling these products and they're making a lot of money out of it, right? And the message you get is like, if you just do this, it's gonna be okay, you're gonna be making a lot of money. And I'm sorry to say, that's just simply not true. It's a road to frustration, and eventually you're gonna give up. And that next step is basically going from freelancing to selling what I call an info product. An info product is basically an ebook. Let's say you write a book about design systems and how to apply them at organizations. And then you say, I'm going to put that online and I'm going to sell it for $50 per, per edition. But the problem, or it could be a Figma course for beginners or whatever. It's basically a product that you put together and you sell to the masses for a cheap price. The fundamental idea here is that you're selling it at a cheap price. So these info products, usually they cost between $50 to $150 on average. But then, and here's the kicker, you're going to have to sell these cheap info products to a hell of a lot of people. I'm talking hundreds, if not 1,000 or more people to actually make an okay-ish income. So if you have a book or a course that you're selling for $50, and if you sell it to 1,000 people, that's gonna get you 50,000 revenue, and that's probably gonna be over a course of almost a year because it's gonna take you a long time to sell to 1,000 people in a short period of time. That's gonna be almost impossible, because one of the biggest challenges you have as a business owner or a creator who's just starting out is at the beginning you have 0 leads, you have 0 customers, and all of a sudden you now have to find 1,000 potential customers. That's hard. Even for big creators, there's a handful of really big creators like Justin Welsh, Chris Do, and so on, who have 500,000 or more followers on LinkedIn and across their social channels on TikTok, Instagram, they have a million or something or more. And for them, it's easy to sell to 1,000 people their info products, and they're gonna be making good money. But if you're like me, you're probably gonna have less than 2,000 followers on LinkedIn. It's gonna be next to impossible to sell to 1,000 people with that following. You simply don't have the distribution channel to be able to sell this many products. And we have tried this with Alan. Last year we wrote and published a book, an ebook together, and we started selling it, and we sold it to a handful of people only. And it's simply we didn't even recover the time invested to write this book. And it's really, really difficult. And then a lot of people at this stage, they're just burnt out, they're completely demotivated, and they're close to giving up. Some might want to continue, and if they haven't yet given up, the next step, or the really hard step, is to go into doing business to customer SaaS products, or business to business SaaS products, like here in this one. And that is incredibly hard, because when you're doing business to customer products, chances are you're competing with a startup that has raised millions of capital already, like in venture funding. And so they have a team, they have money, they are working 12 hours a day, and they have everything that you don't. And you're trying to compete against them. And it's gonna be difficult. And in that case, in order to make any meaningful money, like these, business to customer products like Airbnb or many others, where they really make a lot of money is at scale. They reach hundreds of thousands of people, or even 1 million or millions of people who buy their products. And these products, they cost little, but because they have a big user base, they can make a lot of profit. But that takes years and a lot of investment to get there. And if you're like me, you're probably not going to have either investment or time to get there. So the easiest thing to do as a creator, or if as a designer wanting to start a side business, is to do a so-called productized service, which is basically what this coaching program is all about. Now, productized service is basically it's a mind shift from freelancing, where in freelancing, you're essentially trading your time in exchange for money. You have some knowledge, your skills, and you're trading that for certain hours a week, and you get some money for that. But with a productized service, you're gonna take this, you're gonna take your time, and you're gonna exchange it to an outcome-based service. You're gonna be paid for the outcome you deliver, not the number of hours or just that product you deliver, which is what basically freelancing is about. And so the fundamental idea in a productized service is that you're going to sell to just a few people, 5 to 10 people a month. And that's actually something that's manageable. You can sell to 5 to 10 people a month. But here's the big difference. You're going to sell a premium price service. So you're going to sell from $2,000-$3,000 up. And you're just going to sell that very same service for months and months and months for a long, long time. And it's easier to do that and to actually make money than to selling info products and not making almost any money. And this is basically how you make money, by selling a high ticket or premium priced service or product that you offer to a few people. And this is basically the foundation of our coaching program, and it's what we're going to teach you of how to do. And that, just to give you a teaser, that relies on 3 things to be able to do a productized service really well. And that is, you need to know your ideal customer profile, who it is, know their pains, their aspirations. You need to have a clear positioning, and you need to have a really good offer. Only when you have these 3, you can start and sell products that people will buy like sugar. You almost to a point where you won't even need, if you nail these 3 things, the ideal customer, the positioning, and the offer, if you nail these 3 things, you almost don't even need to do any convincing, especially some time down the road after you have some testimonials and so on. So basically, in a nutshell, this is what our program is all about. And I just wanted to take this time to show you what we're doing and why we're doing it, and just show you the numbers behind it. Thank you so much again for checking out our offer, and I really do hope that we see you in our community very soon. Thanks, and have a good one.